We're here with the Onyx Path news, and yes, as always, we have new releases, we have news to announce, we've got things coming up, we've got a lot of busy work going on at Onyx Path right now. It's an exciting time, it's always an exciting time, but most of all, let's all for a moment celebrate the appearances, the successful running of Virtual HorrorCon that took place over the weekend. That's right, Gehenna Gaming ran Virtual HorrorCon, and we attended as sponsors and as guests. Onyx Path Publishing, and at Virtual HorrorCon, you could participate in all sorts of horror games. You could watch loads of horror games. You could watch lots of horror gaming themed panels. I happened to run. They came from Camp Murder Lake. It was probably the most ludicrous session of Camp Murder Lake I've ever run. There was They came from panel. There was a horror and role playing where we got to speak about all kinds of Onyx Path horror games, and indeed there was a big profile of the They Came From timeline. So that was lovely to do. We have also, and this is the first big thing. Hello, Gal. It's been a while since I've seen you in the chat, Gal. Obviously, you were one of our frequent flyers. I think your miles have sadly run out. You didn't use them in time, but that's all right because you can restart. You can join again. But before you do, let's talk about some of the releases from last Wednesday. The big one was Scarred Lands Dead Man's Rust. That was the art used for this video. Scarred Lands is one of the greatest Dungeons and Dragons campaign settings. It started off with 3rd edition D&D. I mention it a lot, but the very first creature compendium for Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition was the creature collection for Scarred Lands before even the monster manual, and the Scarred Lands setting followed. And Scarred Lands is a campaign setting that was also out for 5th edition. And very recently, last Wednesday, in fact, we released via print on demand and PDF on Drive-Thru RPG the Dead Man's Rust mega campaign. So if you like your Curses of Strahd, you like your Tiamat's Wrath, you like all of this, that, and the other for D&D, well, check it out for Scarred Lands. Dead Man's Rust is a mega campaign, takes you across a huge heap of levels, across a myriad of geographical areas, and sets you up against lots of horrific threats. I do recommend it. I've ran an actual play of it myself. I participated in an actual play of it as well, and I believe I'll be up in another one coming soon. If you want to check out my actual play, the one I ran of Dead Man's Rust, I did a 3-parter for Red Moon role-playing, as I often do, which just focused in on one element. I didn't take the whole campaign. I took the Hornsaw Forest and some of the lovely critters that exist there. One of my favourite things about Scarred Lands is the monsters. That's why I always mention the creature collection, because the monsters in that game are just wonderful, sublime. Anyway. And hello, Pavel. And Gal, I accept it. I accept your apology. It's all right. You can have your miles back. But it isn't just about Dead Man's Rust, and it isn't just about Virtual HorrorCon. As we know, it is the 10th anniversary of Onyx Path Publishing, and with the 10th anniversary comes the 10% sale, where we have... There should be a sort of trill, shouldn't there? Some kind of musical sting at that point. Where we knock down the price of various games by 90% to 10% of their regular price, because it's our 10th anniversary at Onyx Path. We have somehow been running for 10 years successfully at that, and that's no small thing when you're an RPG company. And right now, the sale is hitting Werewolf the Forsaken and Mage the Awakening, 2 of the most popular Chronicles of Darkness game lines, excuse me. And, well, I've got a great vested love in Werewolf the Forsaken. I don't speak about it enough, but for my money, Werewolf the Forsaken is, in a lot of ways, the superior Werewolf game. I know it's a matter of taste. I use a lot of setting elements from Werewolf the Apocalypse, and I apply them to Werewolf the Forsaken, or vice versa, when I happen to run one or the other. So, as I know, one of the viewers of this episode is actually participating in a Werewolf the Apocalypse game I'm running right now. If you're not familiar with Werewolf the Forsaken, that's good, because there will be Forsaken elements that will be appearing in that game, and it's best if they come in as a surprise. Hello, Elaine. And yeah, so Wealth of Forsaken is in the sale, along with a book that I happen to co-develop with Chris Allen and Leith Shields, Shunned by the Moon. That is, as we have mentioned many times, I'm a big fan of bestiaries, and it is the bestiary for Wealth of Forsaken. We cover the Pure, we cover Balehounds, we cover the Gerayo, we cover the Idigam, we cover hosts, we do a lot. So we even do some human antagonists in there too. I think it's one of my favorites. If I had to devise a top 3 of games I have developed or books I've developed, Shunned by the Moon would be up there, which may strike you as a surprise because it's a source book as opposed to a core book, but it was just such great fun getting into that. The various evils that exist in Wealth of Forsaken. It can't be downplayed how great the array of antagonists is in Wealth of Forsaken. It really makes that game explode with potential. And all of those Wealth of Forsaken books are at 10% of their regular cost, as is Mage the Awakening. Now, Mage the Awakening isn't a game I am so hot on as a fan, but I do appreciate that its fans are fanatical about it. Fans of Mage the Awakening, 2nd edition, are really very keen, very enthusiastic. They always want to know what book is coming next. They love their game. They love the way it's written. They love the care and attention that the teams behind it put into it. And so Mage the Awakening 2nd edition is also on sale, but I have good news for you people when it comes to Mage the Awakening 2nd edition. If you are waiting on Tome of the Pentacle, which is going to be a big book for Mage, that book has just gone off as of today to Paradox for approval. So hopefully you won't be waiting too much longer. We don't like to set dates, but you never know. You never know. And as Pavel has pointed out, we are discounting our products faster than he can read through them. And I think that's natural. That's fine. You build up a base so that when the bombs drop, you finally got something to read. Unfortunately, they're in PDF. The electricity will run out and you won't be able to read them at that point. So make sure you pack a generator. That's my advice. Or print out your PDFs. So what else do we have to talk about right now? Really, I think that's about it. We have a very interesting release coming up this week, this Wednesday, which I will let you check out on the Monday Meeting blog when that goes up tonight, tomorrow morning. This is a release for Scion, and I will say no more, but it's a good, chunky book that if you're a fan of Scion, you are going to love. Do support Scion. Do support our lines if you can. Scion, Trinity, they came from, we pour an awful lot of effort into these games and we want them to do well, so it's always wonderful to see them gaining medals on Drive-Thru-RPG. And likewise, do support Pugmire, do support Cavaliers of Mars, do support Dystopia Rising, and of course, World of Darkness and Chronicles of Darkness. If you can, Scarred Lands 2, of course, is one of our game lines. I shouldn't forget, given that I just mentioned it. And Legend Lore is licensed, but God, we work on a lot of games, don't we? How do we stay sane? So, yes, lots of books coming out, lots of books being worked on, and lots of books on sale right now. Do check out the sale. Do, honestly, because, and I know I say this every single week, but these books are only on sale for a limited time. And what's more, where some games may get a whole month on sale because there aren't many of them, Chronicles of Darkness is not getting that kind of a stretch because Vampire the Requiem was week 1. Week 2 is Wealth of Forsaken and Mage the Awakening. Now, you can hopefully see that each game line is probably going to have a fairly slim window for you to get in on that sale. So you need to keep your eyes open. You need to follow us. You need to keep up with what we're putting on sale and you need to buy it while it is on sale because it won't be on sale for long. With that said, I'm going to head on off. And I'm going to bid you a good evening and hope that you have a lovely rest of your week in the blazing hot sun that is currently burning down upon my balding head. Well, bald head, let's be honest. Right now on this beautiful July. So thank you very much for watching and have a good evening.